Thanks, Rita. Hello, welcome to Wales Today. I'm Lucy Owen. The headlines. Long queues at water stations for weekend supplies as up to 40,000 homes look set to remain cut off for 2 more days.
It just wasn't moving, it was like gridlock, wasn't it? So I thought it might be easier to park here and walk across. I think that's the best thing to do.
I'm in Llanrwst, where this afternoon I only found 4 shops open. We'll be hearing how losing their water supply has impacted businesses right across Conwy County.
Also tonight, drivers brace for a diversion of up to 70 miles while a section of the A470 closes for repairs. Doctors didn't think he'd survive. Pontypool rugby coach Ryan Thomas had 2 heart attacks and a stroke after a gym session.
I was sitting with a consultant with my dad that day, and I said to me, "What are you telling me? You know, are you telling me he's going to die?" And he said, "Yes, more than likely."
Why potholes in a small village in the Ceiriog Valley have been turned into a spoof tourist attraction.
They're not potholes, they're bomb craters. It takes years of concerted council inaction to get to where we are now.
Hello, in tonight's sport. Local pride and precious points on offer. Will it be Cardiff or Swansea celebrating tomorrow? We'll look ahead to the South Wales derby.
Noswaith, good evening. There are hopes tonight that the water supply to large parts of Conwy County will be fully restored within the next 48 hours. It comes after Dŵr Cymru Welsh Water confirmed they've managed to fix a mains pipe which burst on Wednesday, disrupting the supply to up to 40,000 properties and forcing nearly 40 schools to close. Well, Jennifer Jones is in Llanrwst for us this evening, one of the towns affected. Jen.
Well, yeah, Lucy, I mean, most of Llanrwst has been without its water supply for the past couple of days, but part of the town, over down by the river, has been unaffected. And speaking to locals today, they were saying the haves have been helping out the have-nots. So there's been a real sense of community cohesion here in this town. Now, I was walking around earlier on today, and I only found 4 shops open, and all the cafes and restaurants, well, they were closed. And that's been the case in many towns and villages right across Conwy County since yesterday morning. Now, this burst pipe, well, it's caused an inconvenience for households, a costly headache for businesses, and a logistical nightmare for Dŵr Cymru Welsh Water. And that's because the bit of the pipe that burst was 2 metres under a riverbed, and so it took a lot longer than expected to get it fixed. Now, earlier this afternoon, I was sitting in the only hotel bar in Llanrwst that was open, and when we got that notification to say that the pipe had been fixed, well, there was a collective sigh of relief. That news couldn't come soon enough for people living here. So let's get a roundup now of the impact of this incident on Conwy County with our reporter, Matthew Richards.
A third day without running water for many left them desperate to stock up. These people came to Colwyn Bay, where Dŵr Cymru Welsh Water were distributing bottled water. After being stuck in queuing traffic for over an hour, some abandoned their cars and carried supplies by hand.
We've been on this queue now for about 3/4 of an hour, and he's actually not even near here yet. So I'd lift it back to the car, but it's too heavy.
He started in the car on the main road, but it just wasn't moving, it was like gridlock, wasn't it? So I thought it might be easier to park here and walk across. I think that's the best thing to do.
It's hard work too. 85-year-old Charles only lives round the corner from the distribution point, but he was left breathless after lugging his allocation home.
Well, you think you can still do it, but it gets more difficult.
But will that tide you over, you think, for the next?
For the time being, that'll be great, yeah. Yeah, we really appreciate the help from everybody. Neighbours, council, water company, the lot. Just wish it was door to door rather than having to carry it.
As residents got enough water to get them through the next day or so, work was continuing to repair the burst main in Dolgarrog. Although the leak was fixed by this afternoon, tens of thousands of customers across Conwy will be without running water until the massive network of pipes and storage tanks refills.
We've concluded that it looks like movement within the riverbed. We've had a rock or big large rocks depressed against the pipeline. which has consequently caused probably a pinhole leak initially, which has then resulted in a larger leak and then catastrophic failure of one of the couplings which connect the pipework together.
Nope. No water. Out of water.
Care homes and other organisations catering for the elderly and vulnerable have had to make difficult choices. Left with no option but to close, this centre in Conwy should be filled with a dozen people, many of whom live alone and look forward to a meal and good company here.
Our average age here is 91 years of age. So you can imagine elderly, vulnerable people living alone would find this quite difficult. So it's necessary to take time to explain things in detail and as carefully and sensitively as is possible.
Dŵr Cymru has offered £75 in compensation to businesses for every 12 hours they've been affected, and residents have been offered £30 for the same period. The Welsh Conservative leader Darren Miller called the figure derisory. The company says staff are working hard to minimise disruption.
It's our aim to get everybody back in supply over the next 48 hours, and we're beginning to recharge the system. That will mean that we have to do it steadily and safely to prevent further issues. But having got through the repair this morning, we are fairly confident that over the next 48 hours or so we'll get people back into supply.
Pressure is building and demand for bottled water is too. The company says it could be Sunday afternoon before the supply is fully restored to all. In the meantime, customers are reminded to keep their taps in the off position and to be aware of initial discoloration when the water is finally back on.
OK, let's talk now to the Mayor of Llanrwst, Mostyn Jones, and the owner of the Eagles Hotel, Manny Dinser. Mostyn, what's been the impact on this town?
Well, it's significant because there are thousands of residents without water, and the situation makes you realise how dependent we are on water. So for those residents without, you can't even go to the toilet, you can't wash your hands, and to be honest, the support from Welsh Water has been very slow coming forward. So we're a day and a half in. We've just had some good news that there's some pallets of water coming to the town, but that's a day and a half later. And then in addition to the residents, we've also got businesses, including agricultural businesses, and so many of them are without water for their livestock. I'm sure they've found solutions by now. But really, in a situation like this, there should be a clearer strategy that they can put into action straight away, because there has been a huge sense of panic here, with many vulnerable residents in particular struggling to get water.
OK, and Manny, how have you been coping at your hotel?
Yeah, it's just 2 days. It's been a bit of a struggle. We've had to close the kitchen today because of the water, yeah. But the bar's still open, but it's just a bit of a struggle, yeah.
So you do have a little bit of water.
Yeah,
How is that?
Yeah, it's just, it's just surviving, do you know what I mean? It's just getting the job done, isn't it?
Yeah. Have you had to cancel bookings then?
We've had to cancel a few bookings, yeah. Tomorrow there's about 10 bookings. I've had to cancel them all, yeah. That's what it is, yeah.
There will be compensation available from Welsh Water. Will you be asking for that?
Yeah, of course I will, yeah. And for the bookings as well, plus the water and everything else, yeah.
The supply is coming back over the next 48 hours. Is there a chance that you can be open tomorrow? You might have to close.
It'll probably be the same today. Drinks probably, but food I'm not, 100% sure.
Yeah.
And then Sunday's the same as well.
Okay.
Just can't guarantee anything, yeah.
Mostyn, what would you like to see happen now? Obviously you don't want this to happen again.
Well, it's a good news story in that we've been able to cooperate with the County Council, Welsh Water and the local secondary school. So the leisure centre on Dyffryn Conwy is open for people to use the showers and toilets there. There's another County Council hub on Schoolbank Road in Llanrwst, there are toilets and showers there. We need pallets of water to be brought to the town. I've just had good news saying that they're on the way here. But in terms of farmers, there needs to be a clear lesson. Welsh Water would need to apply for an abstraction licence to take water from the river to give to the farms, which is a hugely complicated process. We need lessons learned so that doesn't happen again.
Okay.
It should be more straightforward to get help for businesses and residents.
Well, Mostyn and Manny, thank you so much for joining me. It's quite cold out here. I'll let you get back inside. For now, that's it from Llanrwst. Dŵr Cymru Welsh Water do say they do have information for you on their website. Just click on in your area. OK, back to you, Lucy.
Jen, thank you so much. Jennifer Jones there in Llanrwst. 2 men have denied causing the death of a man and seriously injuring his 9-year-old son in a crash near Welshpool. 41-year-old Rhys Jenkins from Powys was killed in November. 29-year-old Abu Bakr Ben Yusuf and 34-year-old Umar Ben Yusuf, both from Manchester, were in separate cars when the crash happened. Both men will face trial in September. People in Llanrwstyd Welsh say they need help to fix a collapsed culvert before tragedy happens. Recent heavy rain and a collapsed culvert led to a sinkhole opening up in a resident's garden. The town's mayor says he's worried it's only a matter of time before it causes a major incident on the nearby A483. Powys Council say responsibility for looking after land drains rests with landowners. The Welsh Government say they've maintained funding of £75 million for their flood programme to provide protection for homes. Now, a section of the main road between North and South Wales will close for up to 12 weeks on Monday. Since a hole appeared in the A470 at Talerddeg in Powys, only one carriageway has been open, with traffic lights controlling the flow of vehicles. It means drivers now face a 70-mile diversion, as Craig Duggan reports.
The effects of a collapsed 5-metre-high retaining wall on one of Wales's major roads. To build a new wall above a river, this section of the A470 will close fully from Monday until April the 11th. For Chloe, it's very disruptive. She lives in Machynlleth and JJ, her 8-year-old son, who has additional learning needs, goes to school in Newtown, on the other side of the road closure.
It's 30 miles from here to his school every day without any additional detour. He is not keen on doing the route that he may have to do because it's a change in routine. The first week is going to be extremely tricky, so we are going to have to make provisions, potentially take time off work in case we need to take him if he cannot or physically cannot get into the transport and he needs additional support in the car.
When the work was meant to be done in the autumn, the closure period was 7 weeks rather than 12, as it is now. But the work was postponed after 2 trains collided just before it was due to start, and in almost the exact same location.
Welsh Government says the work will take longer now because a water main needs to be diverted rather than just suspended during the excavation, as was the original plan. More time has also been allowed for working in winter. But for however long the road is closed, the diversion is very long.
It takes drivers on equivalent A roads through Caersws, Newtown and Welshpool to rejoin the A470 at Mallwyd. It'll affect journeys between North and South Wales, but local people will feel the biggest impact. For some children, it means getting a train to school instead of a bus, and a longer day.
The bus collects us here at Talerddeg at 8:10, roughly, but now we'll be leaving 7:25, and then we'll be an hour later coming home. When you've got tough, long lessons in school, and then you've got a long journey home, it's not ideal.
Heled's father is also concerned about vehicles using a narrow back road to avoid the closure, which is unsuitable for heavy traffic.
At this time of year, the verges are soft. The laybys can only handle maybe 1 car, 2 at the most on some of them. So the main thing is, if there's 2 cars in tailgating in front, the third car needs to give them plenty of space. Otherwise, it will be a big hassle.
Welsh Government recognises the work will cause disruption, but says it's essential. There are many warning signs, some far from the closure. For the next 3 months, drivers are advised to plan ahead, while local people hope the work can be completed quickly.
You're watching Wales Today. Still to come in the programme, it's one of the highlights of the sporting calendar. Swansea head to Cardiff tomorrow, 10 points better off than their rivals.
And the weather's not looking too bad for the weekend. Mostly dry, but feeling chilly. A full forecast on the way.
Now, a new tourist attraction has opened in a small picturesque community on the edge of Wrexham County. It's called Pothole Land, a tongue-in-cheek response by residents fed up of the potholes on their roads. It's located just above Pontfadog in the Ceiriog Valley. Locals say they have the widest, deepest and longest potholes in Wales. Wrexham Council has declined to comment. Here's Sarah Easdale's report.
A new attraction in the Ceiriog Valley, but also a cry for help for the roads the residents of Pontfadog say have been neglected for years. Neighbours Russell Kirk and Ed Rayner live at the top of this road they describe as treacherous and getting progressively worse.
It's been maturing nicely.
It's been maturing nicely. It's twice as deep as it used to be.
They say they regularly report the potholes to Wrexham Council to no avail, leaving them feeling cut off and forgotten.
To try and drive a car up and down this is just so difficult. People don't come up anymore, and that includes the bin men even sometimes. We thought as a community it's better not to get angry too much, it's better to be elegant. Let's bring the humour and let's hopefully raise the profile of this, which we have done, you're here, so that something can be done. It's working with the Wrexham Council. That's what we're trying to do.
People say potholes. They're not potholes, they're bomb craters. It feels like we've been forgotten up here. Wrexham don't know where we are. Well, at least now they've got a good reason to come and visit us.
Further up the valley in Nantir, it's a similar story.
We pay our taxes as well. What are we getting? We get nothing really, because we don't have electric lights on our street or anything, because we live in the middle of nowhere. Even family will not visit us anymore, and that's horrific.
I've just had a new baby and I haven't had any support from family or friends because they can't get up and down to help me. And with a 2-year-old as well, it's been quite challenging.
Although the potholes on view in Pothole Land are on the extreme end of things, potholes are a real problem right across Wales, and how to get them all repaired is a real headache for local authorities. An annual survey carried out by the Asphalt Industry Alliance last year showed that road conditions were at an all-time low due to decades of underfunding, saying it would cost more than £16 billion to tackle the backlog of repairs across England and Wales. Over in Flintshire, the roads budget of £1.7 million is less than half of what they say they need to maintain a steady state in the county's road network.
There's squeezed budgets everywhere, there's only so much to go around, but we obviously have to fight our corner, as everyone, because it's a front-facing service that everybody sees every day, from your recycling to your recycling centres to the road network.
Part of the solution for Flintshire could be this machine, called a Pothole Pro. It cost around £170,000, but fixes holes more efficiently. Wrexham Council has declined to comment on Pothole Land, but the residents are still hopeful, even offering to pitch in with the repairs themselves if the council supplies the tarmac.
A rugby coach has been described as surviving the unsurvivable after having 2 heart attacks and a stroke within days of collapsing following a gym session. Pontypool Rugby Club team manager Ryan Thomas was rushed to hospital by his wife Victoria after falling ill with chest pains and struggling to breathe. The father of one is still at the Grange Hospital in Cwmbran and is unable to walk. Matt Murray reports.
Another one. 3-year-old Teddy loves playing with his mum, but misses his dad. Ryan would normally be here, entertaining his son. He's always been an active father. He's been in hospital since November. The 38-year-old has survived 2 heart attacks and a stroke, which happened within days of each other. Ryan, a former Pontypool player, took over as the team manager at the start of the season and had been at a CrossFit training session with his teammates when he returned home feeling unwell.
And I said, "Oh, Brian, you look grey." I said, "You look really poorly." He said, "Yeah, I've got chest pain and it's in my back."
At that point, Victoria rushed him to hospital, where he collapsed in A&E. He had gone into cardiac arrest. Medical staff at the Grange Hospital tried to revive him with 21 shocks from a defibrillator.
I just remember being sat in the waiting room and the registrar coming in. And she sat down and she said, it's been nearly an hour now. And I think we need to think about stopping and what is going to be dignified to Ryan. And I just remember saying, "No, you can't stop." As soon as I said that, I think another doctor came in and she said, "Oh, we've found a heartbeat."
Ryan had gone from being an active dad to being placed in an induced coma and had a stent inserted into an artery. 3 days later, he had a second heart attack. A CT scan revealed he had also suffered a serious stroke.
They needed to administer a blood thinner, but with that come huge risks because of the stroke. And they said if they administer this blood thinner, he would probably have a catastrophic bleed. Are you telling me he's going to die? And he said, yes, more than likely.
How do you process that? What was going through your mind?
yeah, just... Sorry. Because, you know, how do you tell a 3-year-old that Daddy might not come home? It was for Teddy, really, because I thought he was going to be robbed of his dad. And, you know, and I thought I was going to be a widow at 34.
Victoria went through an agonising time as her husband remained in an induced coma, but he defied doctors and gradually came out of it 5 weeks later. Ryan is unable to walk and has lost feeling in his left arm following the stroke, but is hoping to start rehabilitation soon.
He could progress really quickly, but then on the other hand, it could take a year, 2 years to fully recover.
As well as a great dad, Victoria says Ryan is hugely popular and has been overwhelmed by the support from the community and the rugby club, while Teddy brings a special kind of support for his mum.
Oh, that's lovely. Thank you.
Matt Murray with that report, and of course we wish the family all the very best. Let's get to tonight's sport now. Here is Thomas.
Thank you, Lucy. We'll start with one of the highlights of the season. Swansea head to Cardiff tomorrow lunchtime, 10 points better off than their rivals. It's also been confirmed tonight the Bluebirds manager Omar Risa, who announced the death of his father last night, will be at the derby tomorrow. Getting the ground ready for a match that matters the most, where local pride as well as precious points are at stake.
Wherever I go, there's always people mentioning, you know, the game and how important it is, and you know, whether I'm getting messages on my phone, you know, about what we need to do and how we need to do it. And all you can do is listen, take it on board, and hopefully apply it. And which we try to do every game, but this game's different. We know it's different. We'll be ready.
In recent weeks, Cardiff have progressed in the FA Cup and are 5 games unbeaten, which has seen them climb out of the Championship relegation zone. But with just 1 win in 13 league games, a victory tomorrow is much needed.
If you look at the league table, it is all so tight. So yeah, if you get a good win and then build a bit of momentum and get a few back-to-back wins, we've done it before this season. I fully believe we can do it again and go on another little run. And those runs, they can really push you up the table.
Adding firepower to the attack could help too. Striker Youssef Salek arrived earlier on his 23rd birthday from Swedish side Sirius, Cardiff's first signing of the January transfer window. There hasn't been much to play for in this fixture in recent meetings, apart from local pride, but this season is different. Swansea City are within touching distance of the playoff places, while tomorrow's result will shape Cardiff City's relegation battle. The Swans arrive here with the upper hand. They're aiming for their 6th victory in 8 meetings against their local rivals.
Do you know what, honestly, it sounds corny, but it's the thought in your mind of what the fans will be able to do. I love that thought of them being so happy in the gantry, so thought of them being so happy coming back and travelling back to Swansea, the thought of them being out in Swansea, reliving the game and singing the songs.
It was a 1-1 draw between the sides last August. Liam Cullen put Swansea ahead that day. The Wales forward says it's the most enjoyable season of his career, and scoring goals in local derbies extra special.
They definitely mean the most, because this game means the most to me and to the fans. So there's obviously goals that have probably been maybe more important in terms of the state of the game or where we are in the league table and what it does for us. But yeah, like in terms of feeling, it's definitely up there.
The outcome here tomorrow of real significance then to both cities. Swansea making the short trip east, aiming to boost their playoff chances, while deepening Cardiff's relegation problems at the same time. In League Two, Newport County 18th in the table travel to Port Vale tomorrow. Wrexham missed out on an opportunity to go top of League One after defeat to Shrewsbury last night. Ben Thomas will start at fly-half for Cardiff for the first time this season in their final Challenge Cup pool match against Connacht tonight. Wales number 8 Aaron Wainwright is injured and will miss the Dragons' crucial game at Lions tomorrow. The Dragons say his absence is just a precaution. A win for Scarlets against Vans would see them progress. Already qualified Ospreys aiming for a home tie in the knockout stages face Poe. Let's get a full check on the weekend weather forecast now, and Sue is with us tonight. Hello.
Thomas, thanks very much. Well, after some chilly, often misty and foggy weather this week, similar conditions to come over the weekend. It's not looking too bad, mostly dry and settled with some sunshine, but again, some low cloud, mist and fog and feeling on the chilly side. Mixed fortunes again today. Mist and fog was quite slow to lift for border counties. Low cloud lingering here in Gilware and in Monmouthshire. But we did see some sunshine breaking through, more so further west, like here in the Mumbles in Swansea. Now, tonight will be mostly cloudy, but with some clear spells. There'll be some mist and fog developing. Also a touch of frost inland with temperatures around freezing. Less cold, nearer 4 or 5 Celsius along the west coast and quite blustery here too. So a ridge of high pressure has been keeping things settled across Wales over the last few days. It hangs around into the weekend. Weak weather fronts trying to push in. High pressure has been blocking these fronts, but they will make inroads later on Sunday and into next week. So tomorrow then, a cold start with mist and fog, the best of any brightness further west. The fog should lift and break through the day, so turning brighter for most of us. Some afternoon sunshine, but still on the chilly side. Top temperatures between just 5 Celsius in Wrexham and Flintshire and 8 in Pembrokeshire, with more of a breeze tomorrow, especially along the coast. Tomorrow night then, a lot of clear spells, but again some low cloud, mist and fog patches reforming. Again, a little frost inland with temperatures hovering around or just below freezing. Again, less cold along the west coast. Sunday's looking chilly again, highs of 5 to 8 Celsius, some mist and fog patches. A bit cloudier for many of us on Sunday, although still some brightness, and we'll start to see cloud thickening from the west later on Sunday. So Saturday should be largely fine and dry and on the chilly side with some mist and fog again, and then a bit more cloud around on Sunday, that cloud then coming in from the west. And it will turn a bit milder as we head into next week, but more unsettled again. We keep the mist and fog by night, but really quite unsettled through the rest of the week. It's been quite a dry month so far, but we'll see rain returning through the middle of the week and towards the end of it. Lucy.
Sue, thank you very much indeed. And that is Wales Today. I'll be back after the BBC News at 10. Hope you can join me then. But for now, from me and all the team, thanks so much for your company and have a really great evening. Bye-bye. Hwyl fawr.